Hey guys, how's it going? In this video I want to talk about hyperthermia or heat therapy for Peyronie's disease, and I want to hopefully get across just how important it is and how effective it is. Um, I just recently looked back over the research on it. There's only 2 papers on hyperthermia and Peyronies, but personally I've been using hyperthermia for 15 years to treat my Peyronies symptoms. Back when I was 17, I had a microwavable heat pad, and I used to put that on my penis after sex or masturbation because I had so much pain, and this heat would get rid of my pain instantly. It also would stop my pelvic area from contracting and causing symptoms from getting worse. And basically, heat pads have been kind of my savior for pain and also my penile deformity for this last 15 years. This last year, I stopped using a heat pad, but I've always used a heat pad and combined it with traction. And the way I've done that is I've made my own heat pad using a sock and rice. You put rice in a sock, tie the sock to itself, and you can microwave this. It'll last you a year even using it every day. Of course, over time you can burn the rice. You want to be careful. You want to heat it up in the microwave for about 30 seconds at first and see how hot it gets. And then usually it takes about a minute to get it to the temperature I want it to be at. And I've been using a rice sock for seriously over a decade. And it's always helped me, and I've kind of taken this for granted. So recently a forum member, diehard patriot, I have to thank him because he brought up heat and asked me about it and showed me a study which I was very familiar with. And I told him, yeah, man, heat works. What did you expect? And he was very surprised at just how amazing this study really was. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? But I do try my best to tell guys what to do, but I realized that I haven't made a video on this yet, and I do want to go over the studies briefly and also the mechanism of action behind heat on Peyronie's disease, because I really think it's extremely effective, and a lot of my results may have come from heat, not just traction. I've always combined them. So the first study on heat therapy in Peyronies was, I think, published in 2005, and it looked at 60 men who used heat therapy. I think it was up to 40 degrees, 39 to 40 degrees Celsius, twice a week, only 30 minutes twice a week for something like 5 weeks, or it might have been 5 months. You can check out the details in the studies. I'll link them below. But what this did was they actually compared it to Verapamil injections, which is often something that men are recommended by urologists, and injections are very invasive and they often don't really work that well. And it turned out the study showed that the heat therapy was significantly more effective than Verapamil at reducing curvature, actually getting rid of the plaque completely in 35% of the cases, and also increasing erection quality and reducing pain. I think as far as pain reduction, the study showed that it was equal to Verapamil, but as far as every other aspect of it, heat therapy beat Verapamil, and the results are pretty staggering. It was 60% of men who did the heat therapy had a significant reduction in curvature and deformity, and again, 35% of men doing this only twice a week had a complete disappearance of their plaques, and a lot of these men had advanced Peyronie's disease, so not just the early phase. So this is really, really incredible, and the way it works is even more fascinating. And first off, the paper kind of goes into how it works, and it says that first you don't want to go above a certain heat threshold because that will actually cause cell death. So they said you don't want to go above 45 degrees Celsius, and in the study they used 39 to 40 degrees Celsius. So keep that in mind. You don't want to have too much heat on your penis or any part of your body, but as long as it's below a dangerous level, it actually causes cell repair, tissue repair. It actually reduces fibrosis, reduces inflammation by getting rid of that hematoma that causes Peyronies that I talk about so much. It brings oxygen-rich blood to the penis, so that gets rid of what's called hypoxia, and kind of prevents this fibrotic situation from occurring. And it also dilates blood vessels big time and allows them to heal because they have more oxygen and there's more nitric oxide available there. And it will definitely improve your erections. Oh my God, my best erections in my life have been from heat plus traction plus pine bark and citrulline. And I just tried this new rice sock and tested my erection afterwards. And it was absolutely insane. It was like I was on Viagra or Cialis. So what I typically do is I'll use the heat sock and heat my penis a little bit and then do traction. And then once I'll do traction kind of until the heat pad runs out of heat, and then I'll heat it up again and just keep on going and alternate between heat and traction. So I'm sorry, I basically leave the heat pad on my penis until it runs out of heat, then I do traction. And then after I'm done doing traction, I'll heat it up and just kind of repeat that kind of cycle. And I'll do that for a half hour to an hour or something. And I've been doing this for over the last decade, and it's really, I mean, my symptoms are basically gone at this point. But even if I use the heat pad now, the rice sock, it still improves my erections dramatically. It's absolutely crazy. And again, I haven't been using the heat sock, the rice sock for this last year, but I just got a new microwave and just made a new sock. And I'm very glad I did. And the reason why I'm so happy about this actually is because looking back at the study, I noticed that there's a section of the study that mentions that what heat does is it increases cell metabolism. And then as soon as I read this, I started thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is extremely important, because for a while I've known now that heat definitely does increase glucose uptake, or your body's ability to use glucose, your mitochondria. And if you take a hot bath, even that will lower your blood sugar. And that's very important for people with diabetes or insulin resistance in any part of your body. And if Peyronie's is truly a metabolic disorder, which I absolutely think it is, then we really want to be lowering blood glucose in the penis and increasing the metabolism in the penis. We want those sick mitochondria that are found in the penis, in the plaques, to start using glucose properly. And if heat can help that and actually stop these mitochondria from being kind of sick from glucose and not unable to use glucose, I think that's absolutely incredible. I think Peyronies truly is insulin resistance in the penis. It is sick mitochondria. And I think this is just really, really incredible to think about. So I really think if just for that reason alone, it's worth using. And I think the results speak for themselves. There's really no reason not to do it. As long as you're using heat that is not too hot, it should only help you. It should only reduce your curvature, increase improve your erection quality. It should reduce your penile pain. It does for me instantly, and the studies have also shown that it does this. It's just incredible. I also wanted to mention there was a study in 2015 on a device called Androtherm. I'll link this in the description as well. And Androtherm is kind of this heavy-duty device that you put on your penis and it would heat it up. And they tested this on, it might have been only on one man. I have to check it again. You can check it out. But you can see the before and after pictures. And it is really incredible just how much his Peyronie's disease improved with Androtherm. But, we don't need a device like that. We can just make a rice sock. And I don't really think there is any better alternative to the rice sock. I've never found a better alternative. You can use a heat lamp. You can take a hot shower. You can also use hand warmers. And I know a lot of guys have tried that, but hand warmers aren't really warm enough for me. It's hard to really keep them on there. I know some guys have tried wrapping hand warmers around their penis, and then as they go out, their penis stays warm. I think that's fine, but it's also something I can't keep buying hand warmers. I would much rather have a rice sock. I think it's much easier. I highly recommend you just force yourself to make one. You can also buy a heat pad, but always be careful of how hot it's getting. Otherwise, just go ahead and make a rice sock. It's definitely worth it, and it will really, really help you. So check out those studies, guys, and keep in mind that this is something that's not going to get a lot of research, kind of like traction or vacuum therapy. But the thing about traction and vacuum therapy is you can sell these things, medical grade versions of them. The thing about heat is no device can really be patented or sold for heat because it's almost kind of stupid. Even if somebody did decide to push androtherm or something like that, why not just take a hot shower or hot bath? Why not just make a rice sock? So just because something is not being researched heavily and pushed by urologists does not mean it is worse than what is out there. And this study, the studies we have clearly show that heat therapy is better than injections, okay? It works really, really well, and you should believe in it. You really should be happy to do it and combine it with traction for really good results, and know that your penis is healing. As long as you're doing these things correctly, as long as you're not using too high of a temperature, this is going to reduce inflammation. It's going to reduce your curve, and it is good for your penis. So guys, try it out and let me know what you think, and check out those studies. They're really incredible. And thank you for watching. Take care.